What is going on, guys? I'm Zedmont. Now, if you missed the latest news, I'm here to tell you the trader is here, and with her, the Lasortrons have arrived. Now, these are not the old boring Lasortrons we had around Christmas time. These are new and improved. Supercell took them back in the garage, upgraded them. They now shoot 3 to 4 times faster, and as a result, they're going to be very, very fun. I'm going to show you a quick video here. I am full boosted. We're going to do a map clear with Lasortrons. We're going to use different heroes. We're going to smoke them. We're going to try every different possibility. But first, I want to show you some stats just very, very quickly. Their range, they shoot farther than sniper towers and mortars and hot pots and machine guns and flamethrowers and cannons. They do not shoot as far as boom cannons or shock launchers or any of the prototypes or rocket launchers. So you need to be a little bit careful. These are not rainmakers. Here are some stats for you. You get them at Armory level 14. They upgrade on their own for free every 2 Armory levels. They walk the exact same speed as a Zooka. They have a bunch of health. They cost a lot of gold, and they do a bunch of damage. We're going to have to get into that to see how much damage. First of all, they cost 18 GBE just to drop. That is very, very, very expensive. So I've got 2 boats of medics loaded to start with. We've also got Everspark and her Universal Remote loaded. We're going to try different heroes. We're going to try different loadouts, and we're going to clear my map. Why am I talking so quickly? Because we've got a lot to cover. Let's get rocking and rolling. Just going to hit attack. No scouting here. We have no time for that. Oh, we've got a sky. We've got 2 sky shields. That's about the best possible option for Lasortrons because we don't care about them whatsoever. So we're going to drop. None of these things will range them. So we're just going to drop them all back here in this corner. Lots and lots and lots of GBE is being used here. And we're going to shock the shock blaster. Not really required, but we might as well just to be safe. Now look, before we even get to that shock launcher, it's already basically dead. We only have to drop 1 artillery on it. So these things, because their beam is so ridiculously long, they shoot forever. Like, look how far back they're doing damage back here. They are removing buildings that are nowhere near our troops. Everspark's free critters, that is the robot overlord latent ability, is dropping tons and tons of critters, and this base is over. Like, that was incredibly, incredibly easy. Now this base had 3 prototypes, but they have no ice. And we just sliced through it with lasers. 0 losses, 415,000 gold gained. Wow. These things are going to be incredibly strong. Now we're going to drop, let's get rid of the medics. Did not need the medics at all that round. We're going to bring in a whole bunch more of the Lasortrons. We're going to do full Lasortron. This is only a level 57 base, so this base should go down even easier. We're going to go on the left-hand side so we can go laser v laser. Now, just to be aware, that laser actually does have more range, as we can see here. Come on. See, 18 tiles for that back laser, only 12.5 for our laser, so we're going to need to be a little bit careful. Everspark's critters are going to call upon that laser, but look at that. It's already down just because it was in the range of those back lasers. Like, the beams on these things are incredibly long. I think they're listed as being 80 tiles long or something along those lines. I think that's the numbers. I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but the range on these beams is incredible. It's longer than the cryo beams. Look at this. The entire beach is now good to go, all because these things are. And look at that. We just took a boom cannon to the face, and we're still good. Obviously, I have boosted troop health. That's probably playing a factor here, but look at these guys. Just absolutely crushing it. 8 Lasortrons with Everspark. Everspark is going to be a great tool with these troops, just because her free critters that she drops are going to be extremely helpful. So I'm actually going to switch to the Critter Swarm here. This ability seems like it's probably going to be a little bit better than the universal remote, because Everspark just doesn't get a chance to get close enough to use her universal remote. So once more, we're going to drop one set of critters out front just to distract for a second. That's all we need, is give these things a second and they will melt your faces off. We're going to use the critter swarm ability, get some extra defenses out front, and everything's going to key on those, and by the time they get a chance to retarget to the Lasortrons, they're dead. Like, this thing is clearing so far behind that it's just silly, silly, silly. These are going to be a lot of fun. These are not your typical tanks just because they move a little bit faster than tanks. So if you're used to using Tank Medic, same sort of mechanics, but a lot more damage, a lot more fun, and they gain GBE extremely quickly just because they're removing defenses on like 8 different layers at the same time. Like, we've almost removed this iron storage that is, if I have to calculate that, I would say about 1.5 miles from our troops. So you're going to get GBE. It's going to be awesome. I like these things a lot. We're clearing our map incredibly fast, and yes, they cost quite a bit of gold, almost 100,000 gold per build per unit, but not a big deal because we're going to be gaining it back and not losing a lot. Now, what we're going to do here is something that I don't really recommend. I just wanted to load a couple boats of Zookas just to show you that they actually have the same speed. We're going to smoke some Zookas, we're going to smoke some Lasortrons, and we're hopefully going to smoke someone's base. We will find out in a second. I'm going to load Brick and her Battle Orders just because Battle Orders are the go-to ability when it comes to Zookas and smoke. So we're going to do that here. What do we got? We've got Axilis 070. They've got a good base for us to smoke to the back on. Let's see here. I've got troop health, so I don't need to worry about mines all that much. And this person's mines are very, very obvious. I highly recommend hiding your mines. This person's mines are not all that difficult to figure out. So we're going to drop all of our troops, including our Lasortrons, right in the dead center. And then we're going to get walking, and we're going to go right back to here. Lasortrons and Zookas walking as one. You'll see they're walking at exactly the same speed. The Lasortrons unload a little bit faster. That's because there's only one of them per boat as opposed to 13 like the Zookas. But overall, not bad at all. I'm going to use a couple extra smokes because I don't entirely know how they're going to spread when it comes to sitting underneath that smoke. And then we're going to flare the core at the last possible second, drop a couple smokes, and see how this goes. So, not awful. The Lasortrons didn't exactly add a lot to that attack, but bottom line is this person's going to look in their replay log and say, I got raided by Zookas and Lasortrons. Something ain't right. Oh man, I feel terrible. That person looks like they have the hopper shield up. Nope, that's not okay. Whew. Green statue, I take it back. Don't worry about that. Carrying right along. So not necessarily an attack strategy that I'm going to suggest, but fun nonetheless. Let's load a couple more Lasortrons. And the reason why you would not want to smoke all Lasortrons is these things cost a ton of GBE, and you're not going to be able to smoke them terribly far. Let's give it one more shot using all Lasortrons with some Zookas, going for a little bit of a smoke break. Where do you have us? Oh, look at this beautiful heart. So, obviously, near the sky shield, you do not want to smoke. Bad things will happen. But thankfully, we can smoke along the right-hand side of their base, and we should have no problems whatsoever. Let's get some GBE out. If I'm not careful, we're not going to have any bases left to try other heroes. So this is the last time I'm going to be using Zookas. We're going to let the Zookas get a little bit ahead, just because the Lasortrons do unload very, very quickly. We're probably going to run out of GBE. I'm going to call it right now, just because these things cost so incredibly much to drop. 18 GBE per, and we're looking at, what is that? We have 5 of them dropped. That's a lot of GBE. So, what's that? 90 GBE just to drop our Lasortrons. We will not be able to smoke terribly far, but hopefully we'll be able to get to that back corner and see how things go from there. We're going to use one more smoke. And now we're going to shock the shock launcher and maybe we'll shock that rocket launcher too, and that should get us in a good position. I'd really like to get some battle orders out here. There we go, battle orders coming out in a hurry, and pretty darn good. This looks a little bit more of a usable troop loadout as far as if you're going to smoke them to the back. Letting them clear a little bit, letting the Lasortrons do their work. But still, I gotta say, I wouldn't suggest using them with Zookas unless you want to get absolutely silly. Just got a crystal for that. Whew. Let's get something new and exciting going. What else can we do? We're going to mix them in with some Grenadiers. Grenadiers are 90% off. Now, these things have approximately the same range as Grenadiers, just a tiny bit more than Grenadiers. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop Bullit out front. 90% off Grenadiers, Tribal Grenadiers. Add to those the fact that Lasortrons are going to remove defenses on so many levels. Actually, let's get Lasertron. And like so. Now, the reason why I've got Bullit out front is simply because he's going to get shot. Everything's going to stay behind him. Use him as a shield. Energy drink's going to keep healing him. No need for medics. It should go extremely well. We'll find out in a second, though. So we're going to drop Bullit right out front, and then we're just going to drop all our troops in behind and see how this goes. I'm going to spend most of my GBE keeping... Look how fast this stuff is melting. This is simply incredible. These Lasortrons are so incredibly strong. People are not going to like this. On the defensive side, these are going to be disliked for sure. But on the offensive side, they sure seem to me like they're very fun. Like just absolutely melting this base without a lot of difficulty. Now you have to be a little bit careful here. As you can see here, your Grenadiers stand in front of your Lasortrons, and that can be a problem because Grenadiers have much lower health than the Lasortrons. Not necessarily an ideal combo, but Grenadiers cost 0 GBE to drop, so gotta say, not a bad combo at all. We probably want to add 1 or 2 boats of medics just to keep those Grenadiers alive, but overall, Bullit with Grenadiers and Lasertrons looks very fun to me. You know what? Let's go like so. Oh, we've got sounds happening. Let's add in Kavan. Let's use... I'm going to use Second Wind, actually. The reason why I'm going to use Second Wind is simply because we want Kavan to drop some rifles. Rifles will go out front, and those rifles are going to be cannon fodder for us. They're going to get shot in the face. They'll keep our troops alive, and good things will happen, I hope. Let's go like this. We're going to get some pink zombie crew happening. The pink zombie crew walks out front and gets shot in the face. Good things are happening. Yeah, these Lasertrons, look how far back they're destroying buildings. Like, they work on so many different levels, and I don't mean that as far as, I just mean they remove buildings on so many different levels. Look how long those lasers are. These are fantastic. Now, the one problem we have here is that we're using medics and the Second Wind, and what happens is your medics run ahead and heal those pink zombies, and then you end up losing medics as a result. So I don't tend to use Kavan because I'm not a big fan of his, but if you're going to use him, be careful if you're using medics, because your medics will die as they chase those pink zombies. We want those pink zombies to die because they're free and they're adding extra layers to our attacks, but if your medics are going to chase them, bad things will happen. The other things that happen is if you're not using medics, Kavan will chase them and then he'll die as a result. So I'm going to switch off Kavan. I just wanted to try him. Actually, you know what? Ice Shield is actually a pretty good ability. So let's switch back to... I'm going to get a couple more of these in here, and we'll use Kavan with his Ice Shield. Now, one of the advantages to the Ice Shield is sometimes it's when you're a little bit far from your gunboat, when it takes too long for your shock to arrive. So if all of a sudden that boom cannon turns towards your troops, sometimes you don't have enough time to get an Ice Shield, to get a shock out there. Whereas the Ice Shield can save you a little bit of time and save your troops. Again, Kavan is not a hero that I recommend or a hero that I like using all that much, but he does have uses, and some people out there do like him, so I figured I would include him in this video. Give him a little bit of love. really think that Kavan needs a buff. I hope he's next on Supercell's list of heroes that need a buff, but until that time, Kavan is just not my style of hero. If he's your style of hero, that's fantastic. I hope that if you're using him, that's great, and all the power to you, but he's not for me. So I just wanted to include him, just so every time I don't include Kavan, I end up getting a couple people mad. So in this instance, we're going to use Kavan, but he is not going to save these troops that are way over here, it looks like. We'll find out. I think this is the highest losses we've had yet. I just have not had a good chance or opportunity to use the ice shield. So we're going to move away from all of that stuff. We'll use our last artillery to get rid of that rocket launcher, and that should do it to take this base down. We lost a ton of Grenadiers. That was not the base that was not the strategy that I would go for. That was probably a good chunk of it was my lack of skill, but nonetheless, Kavan just doesn't do it for me. Ice Shield can be very useful for those bases, especially bases that are really packed towards the front. His Ice Shield can be good, but on those long spread out bases, he ends up getting too far from a lot of the troops, and it isn't terribly useful. Now look how many. Oh man, let's boost up something. Let's boost up the heavy damage. Not a big fan of that, but we might as well spend some raw crystals just because these resources are going to be overflowing all weekend. Next up, what else can we do with these? What else we can do is we can add some regular tanks to them. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not a big fan of tanks just because they're so slow. Let's add some Scorchers in. We'll do people call Scorchers and tanks skanks. I don't know. Someone's got to come up with a good name for Scorchers and laser tanks. Skalanks just doesn't do it for me. I'm sure there's someone out there that's got a better name than that. And what we're going to do is we're going to use battle orders. Battle orders is incredibly fun. It makes everything happen quicker. And actually, you know what? Let's do that. What the heck? Battle orders, Brick will probably die pretty early on, but that's okay because it's going to be fun. Sometimes you don't have to use the best hero, you have to use the funnest, and a lot of the times Brick is the funnest just because she is so just adds, like, her screaming go 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 is pretty awesome when it comes to look at I don't even know if lasers can shoot faster. Like, are they shooting faster? I don't even know, but the fact is we're melting everything within a country mile or country kilometer or whatever your unit of measure might be. These Scorchers are going to get wrecked by that Doom Cannon back there. Hopefully our critters can save it for a moment. Oh, there's another prototype back there, Shock Blaster. Like, these, obviously, like, the thing is I'm full boost, so we could probably take this base down with any combination of troops, but the bottom line is that we're doing it with the Lasortrons, and they're doing a great job of it, and they're making it pretty fun, I have to say. I would not necessarily recommend using Brick when it comes to Brick and battle orders with these Skalanks, but I gotta say, battle orders with Lasortrons is pretty awesome so far. Getting the right troop combo, probably a little bit more important. Let's get, what can we do here? You know what, I'm going to put Lasortrons in as a replacement for Zookas, and we're going to go with RCLM, if that's, I'm not entirely sure how to phrase that, but let's put them in like so. We're going to add a boat of cryos, a boat of medics, and one more boat of rifles. So what we've got here is we've got rifle, Zooka, cryo-medic, which is a very strong combination, but we're going to use Lasortrons instead of Zookas. If this will work, I don't know. We're going to load the best possible hero for the job, though, and that is Everspark. We'll use the universal remote just because I think we should be able to get a little bit closer with these troops. We'll find out here shortly, though. Don't entirely know. This base has got no ice statues, but we do have 3 decent level prototypes, so as always, we're going to actually BART out this left-hand side rocket launcher. Let's get one more. And now, We're going to go rifles in the front. The rifles' job is to get shot in the face. That is their entire job. That's their entire purpose in this attack, is just to stand out front, and the medics will keep them alive, and the Lasortrons are going to do all sorts of damage from the back. Hopefully this will work. Again, I'm making this up as I go along. You'll have to be the judge of which troop combos you want to use. This, realistically, from an efficiency standpoint, Zookas being free, Lasortrons costing us, what is that, 54 GBE just to drop them in this attack. RCZM is probably a better strategy, but look how far back these lasers. They're going to remove that rocket launcher behind the core. So maybe you want to mix in 1 or 2 with your standard RCZM. I don't entirely know, but for what we're doing here, with a full boost on a 10 offense account, it's working extremely, extremely well. Let's do it one more time, actually. I just want to see what else we can do. Hopefully this base has got... Oh, this is where your ice shield would come in very handy. Lots and lots of stuff in a small amount of space. Ice shield would be fairly good here. But once more, we're going to BART out this back rocket launcher. Why I'm picking that rocket launcher is because I'm going to be throwing a shock over here on that shock launcher anyways, and the same thing on this side. There was nothing else back here to shock. That's why we got rid of that one. Now, out come the rifles and then everything else in behind, and there's our shock. That should get us rolling, should get us at least started moving towards the core. We'll see how these Lasortrons do. Like, they are, again, you see how many levels back they're removing buildings? So far, I've been very, very impressed with how well these things work. And we're just walking towards the core. If you've never used RCZM before, I highly, highly recommend it. It's one of the strongest troop combinations in the game, but RCLM is also working pretty darn good. That base was very, very heavily front-loaded, and we just walked through it with very, very minimal losses. So, pretty strong. Pretty impressed with it so far. You know what? That's actually pretty... That might be my favorite combination, actually. Using it as a replacement for Zookas. What else can we do? Actually, I really... Just when I say it as a replacement for Zookas, we're going to try one more thing. One other classic Zooka combination is Heavy Zooka. So we're going to try a Heavy Zooka core hit using Lasertrons as a replacement for some of the Zookas. I would use it for all the Zookas, but I just do not have enough GBE to do that unless it's super, super close to the shore. We're going to load Brick up one more time. Brick or Bullet are the only heroes I tend to use with smoky attacks for the most part. Everspark sneaks in there sometimes, but let's have one more look at it. Okay, so this base has a shield gen. That's going to be interesting. And we're going to park right about here and see how this attack goes. Realistically, Lasertron on a core hit does not make a lot of sense because we're looking for a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. And Lasertrons aren't really going to do that for us. They're more about removing different layers of buildings and giving back GBE very, very quickly. So we got our heavies out front. We're going to smoke. I forgot all about that laser. Do not recommend that. And we're going to sit right in here. We've lost a couple Zookas. We're going to activate battle orders. Now with Heavy Zooka, you want to back flare. Then we're going to flare the core, and we'll see just how this goes. Lasertrons giving us some power from the back. Let's put a shock on that boom cannon there. I'm not completely sold, but you know what? Lasertrons in Hookah was not generally awful. I think most of that damage was probably done by the Zookas and by our huge boost, but they stayed they stayed under smoke pretty darn well. Which hero have we not messed with yet? We've used Everspark pretty extensively. We've used a couple abilities on Kavan. I only honestly use battle orders with Brick, so we're not going to look at the other two. Let's see if we can get some Shock Knuckles. I know that Mr. Chicken was talking about how much he loved Shock Knuckles, so let's give it a try. I am not sold on Shock Knuckles whatsoever, but I'm not going to write it off just because apparently people were saying it worked fairly well on Crab. I don't entirely buy it, but we'll find out here very, very quickly. Let's have a look. Where are we looking at here? Black Death. Come on. What do we have here? Okay, so a little bit of ice hidden back here. Couple ice statues. What I tend to do when I'm looking for ice is I just count their statues. Like right here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 statues at the front mean either they have a low-level sculpture or they're hiding some statues. And as it turns out, they're hiding 2 ice back there. In shame. Don't blame them whatsoever. Now let's drop all of these and push the button for our favorite ability. And it hasn't come out yet. It's going to come out soon, I hope. Let's get a shock out. Oh man, come on Shock Knuckles. Do us a solid and get some Shock Knuckles out. So far we've had 0 shot. There we go. Shock Knuckles take a while. So Shock Knuckles with the Lasortrons so far, I'm not overly impressed because the Lasortrons remove buildings so incredibly quickly and he just does not get a chance to retarget. So could be a bit of an issue there. Obviously he got shocked to start with, but we're losing troops very, very quickly here. Let's get rid of some of these boom cannons and doom cannons. Obviously boom cannons and doom cannons are going to be your biggest issue when it comes to Lasortrons. I'm going to give Shock Knuckles one more try though. I feel like that might have been because of those shock launchers keying on us. We'll give it another shot and see how that goes. But look at our gold. We spent 1 million gold on the Lasortrons and we're now up to 7.7 million. Many, many golds coming in. Now, we got 4 ice over here. Let's see how the Shock Knuckles are. So right now, we cannot get that shock launcher. We can get this shock launcher though. Let's get rid of this shock launcher back here. Little bit of poor positioning of that sky shield. And we will put him here. We'll drop critters out front, and then we will press the button for the Shock Knuckles. And he got hit by the shock launcher there. Come on, Shock Knuckles. There we go. So Shock Knuckles, shocking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 defenses there. So doing pretty well on the Shock Knuckles to start with. Come on. There we go. Not the best aim on that one. Not bad. I gotta say, I really probably need to work on my positioning of the Shock Knuckles because he was aiming a little bit to the left on a couple of them. But, not the worst ability, that's for sure. Let's go. I would rate as far as worst abilities go, I would put the Crystal Critters up there with the, what is that thing? The Cluster Grenade. Cluster Grenade is pretty good when you're a low level. Once you get higher up, it's just completely useless. I wish it scaled a little bit better. Perhaps based on armory level or something like that, so that the low levels couldn't solo bases with it or something along those lines. I don't entirely know what the solution is. Let's try one more Shock Knuckles against Elbow Room. Elbow Room, one of my favorite NPCs, just because, actually this is probably one of the best NPCs for these Lasortrons as well, because nothing, you know what, we don't even need a hero. Watch this, just because their extra range is going to just chew through everything. Look at this. Elbow Room is a perfect example of what these Lasortrons can do. Just absolutely eating through the entire base with 0 effort, 0 skill required. Just set them and forget them, and then we'll just bark the core. And let's retreat. I want to try one more time. Don't explode, please. Oh, man. See, that sort of setup with those low range buildings in front is perfect for Lasortrons. Please try this against Elbow Room. You will not regret it. How many bases do we have left? We've got Recoil. I don't know what this NPC looks like. This is one of those NPCs that you should probably not attack if you're a max level player. Any NPC with fewer than 50 or so buildings you do not want to attack because they will give you fewer resources than simply destroying them on average. Now, Shock Knuckles, I believe, will attack those crates, and we really, really don't want that to happen, so let's go like this. Where are you at, Bullet, my friend? There we go. Come on, Shock Knuckles. Come on, Shock Knuckles. Let's go. See, right now, Bullet cannot pick a target because everything is just being destroyed so incredibly quickly due to the power of these Lasortrons. Still have not got our original. Let's put a shock on our own troops. There we go. There's the shock knuckles. We pushed the button for that about 45 seconds ago, and it took that long and me shocking my own troops for the shock knuckles to get out. So with shock knuckles, you want to make sure you've got really, really condensed buildings. Otherwise, you're going to end up with Bullit just wandering around trying desperately to get the shock knuckles out. Now, same sort of base, but we can actually get the shock knuckles out here. We'll push the button and we'll drop all of these things over in here. That should work out pretty well. You see, like, once you let him get into range, it's actually pretty darn good. But for me, just the patience to let them get into range can be a problem at times. Wow, these things are just melting NPCs. Like, if you're looking to clear your NPCs and gain powder in doing so, these have to be the best troop in the game at the moment, just for clearing NPCs. Like, they are just absolutely chewing through NPCs. I'm very, very impressed. Obviously, it's going to depend on your boost and your statues and things like that, but I think we're done. Let's see here. We've got absolutely everything cleared. Let's check the radar levels. So 16%, 16%, you find that out by clicking on the actual time. That means that we've cleared absolutely every base on our map, and our map is now clear. So that's all I've got for you. Lasortron's complete map clear, using all 4 heroes, using lots of different troop combos, going over the stats and the ranges and all of the technical details. Hopefully this, actually, you know what? I'm not done. I feel like these things against resource bases are going to be very, very fun. So let's give that a couple shots here. We're going to get rid of these front rocket launchers. We're going to use that wood storage to our advantage, and we're just going to walk them over into this general area. We're going to try to angle them properly so that they'll just wipe everything out on this base. And we'll even push the button so Bullit can do his shock knuckles. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, because I kind of want that wood storage to stay up, but holy crow, look at that. You see how fast these Lasortrons are going to cut through that? Pretty good. That's a good value on that shock knuckles for sure. Let's push that button one more time. I don't even know where he is at the moment. Like, these Lasortrons are chewing through the base. Resource bases have no chance against these guys. Obviously, some of those level 60 resource bases that are completely full you'll struggle against, but if you can get them down, these things are very, very strong. Actually, you better shock these boom cannons over here just in case. I gotta say, big fans of the Lasertron. Obviously, you need to boost. I would highly recommend boosting with these just because it's way more fun, but that is up to you. Obviously, Endless Reserves makes this much easier as well because we don't have to wait for anything. Let's do battle orders. I want to try battle orders against a resource base. This will be absolutely silly, I believe. Come on, resource. Oh, this resource base doesn't have enough. There's not enough. I want to find one of those like fully jam-packed resource bases. Let's have a look here. What have you got for us, Aaron? Nope. All my resource bases are fairly low level, it seems. I want to find one of those, like, just absolutely max where there's no room for anything else. I guess, actually, you know what? Let's just... Oh, you're online. Find new opponent. Much, much easier. Let's go. Come on, Mugs. There we go. That one's not bad. Not bad at all. I'm going to get rid of... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to get rid of anything. I'm just going to go right into here. I'm going to drop one smoke just to see... Uh-oh. There goes one of my Lasortrons. I kind of like... Look at that. It's like... It's kind of like... I like the way that they go... Look how well they actually pack up underneath smoke. They all sit underneath one smoke. That is... That's dangerous. Watch this. Boom. Just lasers right up your nose. I don't know what up your nose has to mean about anything, but the fact that they sit underneath one smoke is going to be very, very interesting. Let's go. Uh-oh. There goes Everspark. Everspark is gone. R.I.P. Miss Everspark. That's not Everspark. That's Bullit. Or that's Brick, I should say. Wow. Not doing well on words, but you get my basic drift of what we're after here. Now, obviously, Everspark would be much, much more useful than Brick in this case because A, she would not be dead, and B, she would be giving us free critters, which critter every extra second you can get with these Lasertrons is going to be to your benefit. Yes, Brick will be very, very fun, but everspark will keep the critters flowing for free, which will be very, very handy. There goes that resource base. I want to try one more. I feel like these things stack incredibly, incredibly well. So I want to see if we can get 8 of them underneath one smoke without any difficulty. And then we'll just explode out and see how that goes. Gonna keep going around the circle, see if we can't get all of the bases here. We're gonna do 1 smoke, 2 smoke, then we'll just sit all of them into here. How fast they shoot is fairly useful. Like as soon as that smoke clears, they're already shooting, and it works very. Let's go battle orders as well. Come on. Like, oh, that was kind of odd. I wonder. It seemed like they kind of hit that corner that was right there. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but we'll have to watch that just to see, because it looks like they didn't shoot farther than as far as they should have on that one occasion. Brick's about to eat it here. Let's put a shock out, get 1 more battle orders. Very easy way to take down resource bases, I have to say. I really want to find one of those maxed out ones, though. I hope I have one. This is probably the one time that I actually wish I have one, but let's see. I have not taken resource bases in a long time, as you can see. That looks a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we only need to use 2 smokes for this, I think. We're going to use 1 there and 1 there, just like on Dr. T Volcano, and everything is just going to fit right underneath there. Looks like they're kind of walking backwards. There we go. Battle orders and a shock in that general area. Man, these things are just absolutely shooting incredibly fast and just melting everything that gets in their way. So we have lost at least 1 so far, just because everspark, Brick, not a good choice at this moment just to use this hero loadout, but still pretty fun. I feel like I'm belaboring the point at this moment, but nonetheless, let's keep going, and we shall. I'll do 1 more resource base as long as I have a fully maxed out resource base. Come on, here we go. Let's get rid of this rocket launcher because it's going to be a little bit annoying based on range, and we'll shock this boom cannon and then remove it. Lasortrons, very op, very powerful. Let me know what you think in the comments. I want to know if you're using them, if you're going to use them, if you're one of those people who says I'm not using them because they're tanks, and you look like. What I want you to think about is just imagine a heavy carrying a laser around. I know that it's easy to say, oh, I don't like tanks, but that's sort of that's sort of a silly way to think, and you're going to miss out on a lot of fun. So I'm not saying you need to use these on operation attacks. I'm not saying you should use exclusively these, but give it a try. Like, these are a fun addition that cost you nothing. That looks pretty. That's not a fully maxed one, but so far that's the best one we've seen. Yeah, let's go back. And that last one actually had quite a few of the buildings lined up. So let's go back and do this one. This will be our last attack of the day. I'm going to add, we're going to use Brick, Bullet, and Taunt. I know Taunt has been nerfed and the range is not all that strong, but it's still pretty good. So let's have a look here and see if we can't drop Bullet out front. And we're going to use 2 smokes once more, 2 smokes just to get all of our stuff right into here. Bullet might get shot there, that's okay. And then we're going to see, like, they seem to spread out a little bit. They kind of dance a little bit. Let's get, look how much GBE. I think my boost maybe just expired. Excuse me. Let's shock this stuff over here. Wow. Excuse me. I feel like at least 1 or 2 of my statues might have just expired. Boost expired, I'm not entirely sure. Feels like we're a little bit short on GBE there. But Bullet standing out front, taunting some defenses, and not doing too badly. I mean, Taunt is probably not the best ability at the exact moment here. I feel like Energy Drink would probably be doing just as well as would Shock Knuckles, but nonetheless, Bullet and these Lasortrons are a very good combo. So as far as heroes go, I would probably put Brick into third. I would put Kavan in fourth, and then Everspark and Bullit up 1-2. I don't really know who's first or second. It depends if how you're gonna use them, but very, very good overall. You know what? I'd put Bullit first, Bullit and energy drink first, Everspark second, and but if you're going to use medics, I would put Everspark first, if that makes any sense, just because medics go chasing after Bullit and bad things happen. So hopefully you are using Lasortrons, hopefully you're enjoying Lasortrons. One of those things that only costs us a little bit of gold that you can trade wood for anyways, and very, very fun, very, very silly. And one thing that I'll suggest you do, anytime you see that your base has been raided by Lasortrons, I would suggest watching it. Hopefully people out there are doing silly things, smoking them to the back of bases or whatever it might be. And if you are doing those things, please let me know. Share your replays with me. I'd love to see them. Otherwise, I'm Zedmont. Thanks for coming in. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been 40 minutes of Lasortron silliness and fun. Not that long, not that short. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if this is too long, too short, fun, not fun, all of those sorts of things. As always, I greatly appreciate any feedback you give, and I shall talk to you soon. I'm Zedmont. Thanks for coming in. Peace.